one of the best and most cost-effective ways of acquiring Bitcoin is to actually mine it. We can typically mine it at almost a 50% discount to the current spot price. And so we managed to acquire land literally opposite a substation in Wyoming.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. Joining me now is Dominic Carosa. He is the chairman of Blockmate Ventures. And Dominic, it's great to have you back again. How are you?
Fantastic, Steve, and even better that we've made a big announcement in the Bitcoin mining space today.
Absolutely. Let's talk all about it. So this is going to be a new subsidiary of the company that you're creating. You're going to spin it out. It's going to be a really interesting one. Talk to us about the thought process behind going into this.
So first and foremost, we are long-term believers of Bitcoin. And one of the best and most cost-effective ways of acquiring Bitcoin is to actually mine it. We can typically mine it at almost a 50% discount to the current spot price. And so we managed to acquire land literally opposite a substation in Wyoming. We've now secured that location, and we're now in the process of electrifying that. And we will basically start with 10 megawatts and ultimately longer term build it out up to 200 megawatts, which at full capacity, if we were at full capacity today, that would mean 200 Bitcoins a month. So, very significant revenue for us, but obviously we're taking baby steps first.
Absolutely. There's obviously capital that's going to be needed in order to get this up and running. So talk to us a little bit about how this is going to be put together and funded.
So reducing dilution for Blockmate shareholders is first and foremost. And we're going to take a similar approach to how we raise capital for Havelo, one of the other investees within the Blockmate group. What we did is we raised money within the private entity. So we didn't have to dilute Blockmate shareholders. And so we're looking to do exactly the same for Blockmate mining. We're actually at the Bitcoin conference here in Vegas, which is the biggest North American trade show, and we've got numerous meetings with investors. And the core focus is to raise money within the private subsidiary, either through some kind of convertible note structure within that subsidiary, or what we're also speaking to a number of groups about is tokenizing the forward hashes that we're going to be creating. So there are effectively some ways that we're looking at raising capital that will mean that Blockmate does not need to raise capital and will not need to dilute shareholders, which once again is exactly what we did with our prior company, Havelo.
Dominic, you talked about sort of the ramp up that you'd like to get to 200 megawatts eventually. Tell me a bit about the long-term play of this and why that ramping up and then beyond that is going to be so important.
The other way to look at what we're doing is really an energy play. We've got energy at 3.3 cents per kilowatt, which is very attractive on a global scale. Obviously, we're going to start with Bitcoin because as soon as you start with Bitcoin, you have revenue generation immediately. However, the long-term horizon is really AI. There is a significant demand for AI, for GPUs in the space. They consume incredible amounts of power. And so having a piece of land that's electrified right next to a substation where we can get access to 200 megawatts is a fantastic opportunity for all Blockmate shareholders. And so we're going to start with Bitcoin. I think longer term, you'll see us doing deals, partnerships with AI firms to roll out AI across the facility as well. But once again, as I said, crawl before we walk. We're going to start with Bitcoin, start with 10 megawatts, and then grow from there.
And in the news release, you talk about the potential, as I mentioned earlier, about spinning it out into its own publicly listed entity. So is that sort of a more longer term goal right now?
I'd say that's more of a medium-term goal.
Okay.
And our strategy at Blockmate, just to rehash for some of the viewers, is we like to spawn new companies and new ideas, build them up to a certain point with the objective of then trade selling them or listing them on the TSX or NASDAQ. And my view is this particular the Bitcoin mining operation or the AI operation, will be substantial enough where I think it will deserve its own NASDAQ listing in the medium term.
Well, it's going to be a very exciting time. Dominic, thank you so much. Great to see you again, and congratulations on this.
Thank you.
There's Dominic Carosa. He is the chairman of Blockmate Ventures.